Hold on. I think there's something wrong with my game. That's better. So when I first played this game, I immediately recognized this mech golem avatar from Roblox. As far as I know, this is just a Unity store asset, but seeing it got me a little bit concerned that this game would be low budget slop. But I was wrong. So very, very wrong. So I didn't know this going into the game, but it actually was in early access back in 2022 with version 1.0 dropping tomorrow for PC and consoles. I just so happened to be looking into it when I was suddenly emailed a key to the full release along with a press account that had everything unlocked. For the sake of this review, I spent about 8 hours playing the game legit. This way I could get an understanding of how the progression would work before I used the cheaty account. Let's just say these devs get it. It's just as addicting as any other Survivor game and has a ton of small quality of life changes that I appreciate. But okay, let's talk about the basic game loop. You're thrown into a level with enemies constantly spawning around you as you try to avoid them and pick up XP crystals that they drop. Get enough, you level up, allowing you to pick an active or passive skill. Later in the game, you can re-roll the skills, lock one that you want to see later, or erase a skill from ever showing up on your current run. Something this game does differently than other Survivors is you don't take damage by touching enemies. They have to actively hit you with an attack. You also have a dodge button, which can be used to evade attacks if you time it right. But with how busy the screen gets, how are you supposed to see the enemy attacks? Well, you can actually downscale the effects that you see on screen during gameplay. A great addition for this genre. I should also mention, you don't lose anything when you die. You'll just be kicked back to the hub and you'll start a fresh run at level 1. Each class has a surprising amount of unique abilities, but eventually you can use any skill on any class. It's nuts. So throughout my 8-hour playtime, I was able to beat every level and every special dungeon on the easiest difficulty. The main missions are your standard Survivor gameplay. Kill enough enemies, a boss spawns, gather ore while you're on your run, repeat. But instead of the run ending as you beat the final boss, you can either leave and go back to the hub or continue the run. Next, we've got the Cthulhu Dungeon, which is similar but has a few unique enemies that you can't fight anywhere else, and you'll be fighting multiple bosses in a row without any breaks until you fight this abomination. And lastly, the new mode, Titan Hunts. You're thrown into an arena with infinite spawning enemies, but in order to unlock the Titan, you have to specifically target these challenge totems, which summon beefed up enemies or bosses. Kill enough of them and you'll get enough points to fight the Titan. Beat it and you'll get crafting materials, with each boss having their specific drops. This is basically so you can focus on the crafting materials that you need. Higher difficulties are obviously harder, but give better rewards required for late game crafting. And from this point on, you've seen everything the game has to offer. But okay, what are you actually grinding for? New classes, new weapons that give unique abilities to each class, runes which give passive abilities to iron out your build, and the passive skill tree. Once you max out the first skill tree, you'll actually unlock a unique skill tree for every class in the game, believe it or not. So at this point, I activated the press account so I could see what players could expect at the late game. While the game loop is relatively the same, with all of the passives that you unlock in the skill tree, you become a screen clearing god. Not many players will ever have their game look like this, because in order to do so, you'll have to grind for hundreds of hours. Despite my initial excitement for the end game, I was surprised to learn that even maxed out, I couldn't beat the final boss. And even though I was given tons of crafting materials, I couldn't even max out a single weapon, which is interesting because those were my two main complaints before activating the press account. The game wants way too many crafting materials and enemies get too spongy. But as I mentioned, most players will quit long before they reach this point. As for my recommendation, let me say that if you like seeing numbers go up, this is one of those games that you plan to hop on for 10 minutes and realize 3 hours went by. It's addicting, and while some moments can get a bit tense, Soulstone Survivors is as relaxing as it is overstimulating. It's another great addition to the Survivors genre. And yes, I would recommend it. Considering the amount of playtime that you'll get out of it, I think it's well worth the asking price.